Hey guys, in today's video we are going to solve one more LeetCode question, that is question number 1732. Find the highest altitude. This is an easy level question and we can see it has been asked by Adobe, Apple and Microsoft in last 2 years. So let's see what this question is all about and how we can solve this. So in this question it has been said that there is a biker going on a road trip and the road trip consists of n+1 points at different altitudes. The biker starts his trip on point 0 with altitude equal to 0. Now we are given an integer array gains of length n where gain I is the net gain in that altitude between point I and I+1 for all the values like I is always going to be greater than equivalent to 0 and less than n, and we have to return the highest altitude of a point. And here are some of the examples given. So let's understand this question even better by this example. So suppose this is the place where I am standing right now and this is the value of the highest altitude because it has been given in the question that we are starting from point 0, right? So we are starting from 0, so that's why this position is 0. Now after moving some distance at this point, what is the gain? Gain is -5. So what I will do, I will take my previous altitude, that is 0, and I will add the current gain into it. And what will be the value? Value will become -5. So this is the current altitude. But is this the greatest one? So no, because if I am going to compare 0 and -5, I know the greatest one is 0, right? So at this position, the greatest altitude is 0 and the current altitude is -5. Now again I will move forward, and after traveling some distance at this point, the gain in the altitude is 1. So what I will do, I will again take the previous value, that is -5, and I will add the current value, that is 1, and the sum will become -4. Is the greatest altitude, do we need to update the greatest altitude? No, because max among 0 and -4 is still going to be 0. So I will again move forward, and after traveling some distance at this point, what I will do, I will again do the same thing. I will take the previous altitude, that is -4. I will add the current gain, that is 5, and value will become 1. So now is there a need to update the greatest altitude? Then yes, because 1 is greater than 0. So now our greatest altitude is updated and it's become 1. Now again I will move forward, and after traveling some distance at this point, again I will do the same thing. I will take 1 and I will add 0 and it will remain 1. So my greatest altitude is also 1. And again I will move forward and I will reach this last step, which is -7, and at this point what I will do, I will again take 1, I will again add -7 into it, and the value will become -6, and as -6 is lesser than 1, so I don't have to update the greatest altitude, and at the end of this traversal what I will be having, I will be having greatest altitude equivalent to 1. So what I will do, I will return this, and this is the answer. So this is how we can solve this question. So there are few things that we can clearly see via this example. That is, firstly, we are maintaining two variables, that is the current altitude and the greatest altitude. And greatest altitude is only going to get updated when the value of current altitude is greater than the existing greatest altitude, right? And The current altitude is nothing but a constant prefix sum that we are maintaining while we are traversing this altitude array. So this question was a prefix sum type question, and we solved this question with the time complexity big O of n, where n is the length of this gain array and space complexity is going to be big O of 1 because we hadn't used any data structure. We are using only two variables. So our space complexity is big O of 1 and time complexity is big O of n. So now let's quickly code this question, and today we are going to code this question in two programming languages, that is Python and Ruby. So firstly, let's code this question in Python, and after that we will see the Ruby solution as well. So as we have already seen in the drawing explanation, we need to define two variables, right? First one will be current altitude and second one will be highest altitude, and initially both were 0, right? Then what I'm saying for I in gain. Now what I will do, I will update my current altitude first, and I will do plus equal to I, and after this I will update the highest altitude, which will be maximum of highest altitude and current altitude. And after stepping out of this loop, we will return highest altitude. Now let's submit this and see if it works or not. So we can see this solution is accepted. So now let's quickly code Ruby solution as well. So in this as well, we are going to do the same thing, that is, firstly we will define two variables and initialize them with 0. After this, what I am saying, gain dot each do I. This is the loop, and inside this loop again I will do the same thing, that is current altitude plus equals to I, and after this update the highest altitude, and in Ruby we check the max in this format. After this we add this dot max, and after stepping out of this loop simply return highest altitude. Now let's submit this as well, and we can see this is also accepted. So this was a very short, sweet and simple question, and I hope this video was helpful for you all. And if you really find it helpful, then like this video, subscribe my channel, and I will soon come up with few more questions. Till then, keep messing with algorithms, and thanks for watching.